Welcome, friends, to the PW Fan. The PW Fan is a podcast created by fans for the fans, and we appreciate you listening to episode 155. I'm your host, the architect of pro wrestling podcast and Funko Pop collector, Andy.
I'm also host, the No Selling Wrestling Indie fan and football lover, Jeremy.
Tim will be on here in a little bit. His headphones are broken, apparently. He's a guy you would think he would have more than one pair, which he probably does. Maybe he's just trying to fix the ones that are already broken.
Probably.
Before we get started, please follow us on all social media platforms at the PW Fan, especially TikTok. That's where I tend to post the most, and Instagram as well, where we're pretty active on there. All the other ones, YouTube as well. All the other ones like X and stuff, maybe a little bit less active, but still give us a follow on there.
Might have a Blue Sky maybe account.
You want to make it?
Yeah, we can make it. I was just like, I know everyone's moving over there.
Yeah. So we can do that as well. If we get that up and running, we'll let you know when to start following that. This week, we're going to be talking about the AEW Full Gear pay-per-view that happened this past weekend. We're going to be talking about CM Punk. And we're also going to end the show with War Games predictions for the card that we have so far. So let's get right into it, starting with AEW. Dynamite this week. Started off, I believe, with Swerve taking out Bobby Lashley quickly backstage. Or maybe he was even in the parking lot.
Yeah, I think it was in the parking lot, yeah.
And you couldn't see it very well, so the commentators had to say it, but he had a chain, I guess, wrapped around his...
Yeah, they went... It's like, I don't know if his camera angle was off or whatever, but he went by so fast and you couldn't even see the chain.
Yeah, so the commentators had to say it, but that would come back a little later. Back in the arena, Adam Cole said he was disappointed to not be facing MJF, but he was confident in his friend Roderick Strong. Kyle O'Reilly would come out and join him in the ring. Talked about, their long journey together. They've known each other for, I don't know, I want to say almost 20 years maybe. Getting back to the Indies. He said Adam needs to stop his quest, take out MJF before somebody gets hurt, which... that kind of becomes confusing once we get to Full Gear about telling him not to go
foreshadowing.
After MJF. Well, it tells him not to go after MJF, but in the end, he wants the opposite later. Yeah. Bobby Lashley would defeat Joe Keys and Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger.
In a handicap match. I haven't seen Cheeseburger in a very long time.
I know, yeah.
I don't know who Joe Keys was, but Bobby Lashley would defeat them in a squash match. It was a handicap match. Swerve would pop up from under the ring with a visible chain and attack Bobby Lashley again. We had a match with Claudio Castagnoli and Darby Allin in which Claudio freaking dominated Darby during this match.
Yeah.
I was very, very surprised. How much he just destroyed Darby like he was a ragdoll.
Yeah, it was also interesting timing to do this before the pay-per-view, but
I don't know. Maybe we get another match with them. Maybe he goes after Mox. I don't know.
Yeah, because I feel like if Claudio dominates him like this, he's supposed to be technically under Moxley in terms of when you go after someone.
Moxley would just dominate him, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. At one point there was talk of him becoming champion, but I don't know where that came from.
I think that could still happen. It's just the super underdog story, which Darby does really well, but it's just they need to kind of start building it.
Both guys, him and Mox, do super violent stuff, so I expect that match to not just be a straight up singles match.
Yeah.
It'll be something wild that I won't enjoy.
That I will love.
That's what I expect. There was a video showing Daniel Garcia and Daddy Magic, who had kidnapped and held hostage Jack Perry. What were they doing? They were throwing water on him. They took bats to his scapegoat van.
Yeah.
And they didn't destroy it, but they were hitting the lights.
Yeah, they busted it up a lot. Yeah.
And whatnot. What do you think of the slowest chase ever around the arena? With EC and Chris Jericho.
I was laughing as it was happening too.
It was ridiculous. So Jericho, to set it up, Jericho was doing a backstage interview and Ishii ended up behind him. and Ishii's just walking real slow, and Jericho's running away really slow, and it just goes through the entire arena.
Yeah, it looked like you were watching it in slow motion almost. I was like, what? Like they're like, it was like bad acting basically.
Well, Ishii doesn't change his face. He was
yeah, yeah. And honestly, I don't know if he can really run.
That's all
too much.
It was just silly.
Yeah, it was very silly.
MJF had some strong words for Roderick Strong, which Roderick Strong definitely would have had to have signed off on.
Yeah,
talking about how his mom, or talking about Roderick's upbringing, which included his mom shooting his dad. Now I don't know if she killed him or not, but I do know before Roderick had talked about his mom being a drug addict and his dad a drunk, and I think he brought up this story before, but MJF of course has to go the extra mile.
Yeah.
And talk about it a little more in the worst way than it already is.
I've seen people get kind of tired of MJF already, saying they're not as invested in him as before, which I feel like is kind of true.
I feel like it's the same shtick.
Yeah,
as before.
It's not bad, but it's still kind of everyone's yeah, it's going to be a shock value comment from
him. Roderick would respond in a interview with Tony Schiavone, I believe. And then the main event showed Orange Cassidy defeating Wheeler Yuta. The Death Riders would attack afterward, which apparently I don't know how to spell. And then the conglomeration would make the save and chase off the Death Riders. And that was Dynamite. Didn't really have anything for Rampage. I don't even think Collision was this week.
No, I think Full Gear was on Saturday, yeah.
Yeah. And Rampage bled into the countdown to Full Gear.
Yeah.
So, I guess since we're on AEW, we can go straight into
Full Gear
review. Wish Tim was here for it, but all right.
He has to get his pair of headphones working.
Yeah, just get new headphones, man. Okay. Show. I'm not going to talk about. I mean, if you watched it, Jeremy, you can talk about the 0 hours.
The Costco guys. Was it just the dad who wrestled QT Marshall?
Yeah, and his son.
His son was out there, or they both wrestled.
Yeah, I guess Rampage. I can say there was a weigh-in.
Oh,
between the two. Now AJ used to wrestle at one point.
Okay, that makes sense then. I guess
years ago.
Yeah,
but they had fucking double chunk chocolate cookies on his tights.
I hate that so much. See, it's I hate it, but then the crowd, I don't know how they were cheering them so much.
I think it's terrible.
But then on the pre-show,
my algorithm, they are not on my algorithm. My algorithm is fucked up. All right,
I saw them. Yeah, I know.
Not pop up on my stuff.
Yeah, you don't want to go on Andy's algorithm.
Yeah,
I've seen them once or twice before, and I was I thought they were kind of annoying.
But
the pop that what's it? The Rizzler? Is that his name?
Little kid.
The little kid, the pop that he got, I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?"
Fucking stupid, dude. I hate it.
Yeah,
QT Marshall, he won first in a bodybuilding contest. He's fucking shredded right now.
Really?
Yeah,
I guess he did look
crazy. He's super tan, which is sketchy, but
yeah, that's always the part they're doing that.
I have arrived.
Welcome.
Sorry for the late delay.
Whoa, I can see your ears.
Yeah, trying something different tonight. I had to use the wireless earbuds, but I got my regular mic set up, so I still sound good. But I don't.
Jeremy, I said
I feel weird without podcaster headphones. This is new for me. If you're watching on video,
the set of cans on. I was telling Jeremy, I said for a guy that does music, he better have multiple pairs of headphones.
Well, I had 3. I mean, and if the Beats didn't work, I was going to switch to the AirPods. And then I had another pair of video game headphones after that. So I was stacked, but it just took me a minute to figure out the wireless.
So do you like Beats better than AirPods?
They just are more comfortable because it has the gel.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the upscale AirPods, but they have the gel, but mine are old.
I have
So
the
where are we
over
at?
the
How's the show going, boys?
ears headphones.
I'm cracking a cold one, and
We're
when I
at
say
Full
cold
Gear.
one, I mean Diet Dr. Pepper. Sponsor us, Diet Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, it's Dr. Pepper. I love Dr. Pepper.
So yeah, that was the main event, right? Of the 0 hour, that freaking AJ.
Yeah,
Boom
the
AJ
Costco
and the
guys.
Costco
Do you know
guy.
who that is,
So
Tim?
Stupid. We're Costco guys.
I've heard about it.
Double
The double chocolate cookie.
Dude, I know. And these guys, dude, I know somebody brought them up to me at work the other day, and they were like, "You know who they are? You know who they are?" And then like I saw the little chunky kid, and I was like, "All right, I've seen this before."
I was telling the listeners, I said, I don't fucking see these guys. All right, my algorithm is not this.
My algorithm is Meat Canyon. Help me, I need some help. Help me. Did you watch that one?
All of our
Is that the
algorithms
new
are
one,
messed
the Demon
up.
Slayer one?
Dude, that one is fucked up, dude. The one
that was hilarious.
I said it to Jerry, but when he's like, you're no longer fit to, you're no longer fit to take care of your sister. He's like, I smell a lot of things, but confidence isn't one of them. And when they open the box, and she's like, help me, I need some help.
I don't like it,
dude.
It was like the first. It was like the first thing I saw this morning, dude.
Dude, I send those. So my coworker Cam hates brain rot videos, and like I send him every single Meat Canyon. And dude, every time I show him, he's like, "I don't like this." I like force him to watch them.
Help me, please. Help me. You smell like a demon. Oh my.
Oh my God.
Dude. Oh my God! If you guys haven't seen it, I honestly don't know if
that's our algorithm, all right? I'm not getting the Costco guys.
It's gonna haunt. It's gonna haunt your. Yeah, I don't get Costco guys. I get. You smell like a demon.
All right.
Oh my God.
Well, what did AJ win? Did the Costco guys win?
They did
Because of the Rizzler.
Yep.
Did the Rizzler go like this?
He did.
And then the Rizzler said, "Help me, please."
All right. So let's get into the actual show of Full Gear. Opening match was Private Party versus the Outrunners versus the Kings of the Black Throne versus the Acclaimed. Winners were Private Party. This, in my opinion, should not have been the opener. I don't think it was a strong enough match to be the opener. I don't think the crowd was hot for it like it should be for an opener.
Yeah.
Just.
I agree.
And before we get started, I will say I
the...
enjoyed the pay-per-view. I thought it was a really good pay-per-view before we get started. But this, I would not have placed this here.
No, I also thought either Kings of the Black Throne or the Outrunners were going to win.
Kings of Black Throne, I've given up now. I thought this was going to be their turn.
I know we're going to get, we have a lot more to talk about, but I generally think the pay-per-view it had a great look, had a huge Titantron. I mean, if that's what you want to call it these days. The arena was packed. Every single match was, pretty good, man. We'll get into it. I didn't like the part when the one girl tackled the one girl off the stage, and then that was weird.
Oh, the champagne celebration.
I don't know. Yeah, but other than that, we'll get into it.
So Private Party retained. The fans are turning on Max Caster. Do you know why, Jeremy?
I don't know. I think he's more selfish now as he doesn't like Bowens, because Bowens, it's kind of a thing the tag Bowens getting more popular and then Caster gets jealous.
Okay. Well, Caster,
that's where
is
kind of started.
Self-proclaimed best wrestler alive.
Yeah.
So
he did his rap and he said that and then threw his mic.
He's got class.
He's got class. He'll rule your ass.
He'll rule that ass, Jimmy. King. All right.
Then he just runs away.
Up next, we had MJF versus Roderick Strong. This match started off hot. I thought this was a really good match. Roderick Strong.
I thought it was weird that they put it second.
Yeah. Roderick Strong hit some fucking gnarly chops on MJF, as well as he is the messiah of the backbreaker, as he says.
Also, MJF cut a little promo to start and mentioned Roderick's mom shooting his dad again.
Yeah.
You know,
when he
that's
was
just
by
one of
the
those
announcer.
things where it might not be something you just bring it up all the time.
No, it was like the second time this week he's brought it up.
Just throwing it out there.
Obviously, we were talking about before when we were reviewing Dynamite is that Roderick would have had to sign off on a lot of it, but
Yeah.
So I thought I enjoyed the match. It ended with MJF tapping out Roderick Strong. Afterwards, he would attack by putting Strong's arm in a chair and stomping on it. It wasn't until after this happened that Adam Cole would arrive. He arrived a little bit too late. Undisputed Kingdom and Kyle O'Reilly would come out, and Kyle would push Adam for not going after MJF, which this conflicts with what Kyle was saying on Dynamite, which was enough with your
don't go
crusade
after
of
him.
pursuing MJF.
Yeah. I guess because he hurt Roderick Strong bad now, so.
Yeah. Now he's like, oh, now you don't want to go. Or I think
I
it
was
was
like,
more. Now
fuck
you don't want to
this.
go after him. Yeah. But I enjoyed this match. I mean, I've always liked Roderick Strong. I just don't like him on the mic. That's the one thing I've always.
Yeah, his wrestling's really good, but yeah.
Shitty little boots. If anyone knows that far, goes that far back about his shitty little boots. Okay, after that,
I'm like right now, just in the background. I don't have Raw on. Normally, I do when we record, but I have Ricochet and Takeshita just on because I really like the match, and I'm just replaying it, and it's just really good. Can't wait to talk about it.
I got some things to say about that match. Not positive.
What? All right.
I mean,
We'll get there.
You'll see. You'll see. Next, we had Mercedes Moné and Chris Statlander.
This is
for the
coming.
TBS
I'm the
Championship.
guy that doesn't even like that type of stuff.
I know.
You know, like the.
It's
We'll
just
get
nitpicky
there, Tim.
things. Okay, so Mercedes Moné and Chris Statlander had the longest AEW women's match in history of the company. I don't
I
like
think one of the best to me.
one of the best women's matches in the history of the company.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying. I don't like Mercedes. I do like Chris Statlander. This was a good match for both women. Mercedes would end up winning. How did she win with her backstabber, or did she tap her out? I don't remember.
Yeah, her what's she call the finisher? The Monet, I don't know, something. Yeah, she won with her finisher.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, it was good. I also watched the press conference afterward, and she was being a heel the whole time, being a mega bitch.
Yep.
Whoa.
I mean, we can talk maybe a little bit about MVP and Bobby
Is that
Lashley.
chill?
Andy really doesn't like her.
Is that allowed?
No, I mean she was being like that to the journalists,
Damn,
as
Andy.
MVP would say.
Woke
Do
too.
you
Yeah.
have, you said, do you
I'm
have a
like,
degree in journalism? MVP asked if this guy had a journalism
Yeah, that was
degree,
funny.
and he was roasting people. Shelton and Bobby were just laughing the whole time. MVP roasting all these podcasts and internet
Internet trolls.
journalisms. All right, Jay White versus Hangman Adam Page. Winner was Jay White. They worked each other's knees the whole time. By the end, both were limping around. I read that this was kind of a callback to maybe their last match when I think it was Jay White who hurt his leg during it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Afterwards, Hangman would attack Christopher Daniels and others would come out to stop him. And he would end up punching Christopher Daniels. We'll see a little bit more of Hangman and Jay White later. But now we're going to get to the best match on the card. Might be fucking match of the year, in all honesty.
It has to be like
I loved it.
contender.
It was fantastic. Okay, so in my opinion, stole the show. Made Kyle Fletcher, who's 25 years old, a fucking star.
Dude,
All right.
he
That's
looked
crazy.
great.
He's 25.
Honestly, I've been waiting to say this to you guys all night since I watched the match. The head shave and the gear change was an absolute necessity. He looks great. He looks way better
Yeah.
now. First of all, since he shaved his head and like he's wearing like the shorts, bro is built. I didn't realize he was like a kind of a big boy. Like compared, like
He's taller than
like,
Will.
yeah,
He definitely got more in shape now.
yeah, he's looking jacked right now with the shaved head and everything. I think this is, I don't know. For me personally, I was one of those people when I saw him. I was like, okay, he's just like a young Will Ospreay, and like that's all I kind of brushed him off as. Now I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
this could be something. I'm in.
Now, I never understood why people say he's a young Will Ospreay, because I was talking to Jeremy before we started recording. He does not wrestle like Will.
It's
But
just
people
the-
I think
compare
it just looked like him.
It's just the gimmick of like, you know, you have that look, you know. It's like the kind of
and the tights didn't help
Gen-
it.
and
the Gen Z.
He wasn't a tag team with him too.
Yeah, the Gen Z hair. They're both British. I don't know. You can tell that Kyle Fletcher probably like looks up to Ospreay a little bit in real life. I would say. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a
Mhm.
vibe. But like, I think that this really,
It's just a vibe.
it's just a vibe, dude. That's
I didn't think I'd hear Tim say that.
So Will
it's just vibe, bro.
I mean, the vibe of the entire like arena changes when Will Ospreay comes out.
Can we get
for
into the
sure.
vibe shirt?
It does, yeah.
PW fan vibe,
Alright.
dude. I'm in. Let's go.
It's a
I'll get
vibe.
through this
And it's
eventually. Don't worry.
Dude, wait, hang on, wait. It's gonna say the vibe, and it's gonna be like a tie dye shirt, like all like hippie looking and shit, like Dude Love.
We'll have our own Dude Love shirt.
The vibe.
Andy's not vibing with
So
this.
Will put over his friend.
Strictly, we're gonna change Andy's. We're gonna change Andy's from Booker Andy to Strictly Business.
I wrote the show. I got things I want to say. Like a demon. All right. So I felt, and I think other people did too, that Will Ospreay shut the haters up that say that he doesn't sell. He sold a shit ton.
Yeah,
in
I
this
didn't.
match.
I didn't really get the criticism at first either.
I guess because of the moves that he just like pops up from maybe sometimes, but like he was selling his neck and that shoulder the whole time. Like he went
Yeah.
for a handspring and like just collapsed because he couldn't hold himself up when he went up against the ropes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they beat the shit out of each other. Kyle Fletcher did a pile driver onto the steps to Will towards the end of the match. Yeah, I mean I thought both guys looked great, but yeah, Kyle definitely, this launched him into the fucking stratosphere. I think moving forward, when he shows up on TV, people are going to be much more for him. I would assume. At least I will be. But Kyle won. Afterwards, Mark Davis would come out to check on his friend Will. But match of the night, in my opinion.
I'll definitely match the
Maybe
night.
match of the year. I'd have to.
It has to be a contender. At least
sure.
top 5.
Yeah, is very, very, very good. Okay, next we have the segment Tim did not like, which is the Mariah May Champagne Championship celebration with Mina Shirakawa. Mariah eventually tries to turn on her friend Mina. Mina would see it coming, and she would freak out. After shaking their boobs a little bit, she would, tackle Mariah off the stage. Land on one table, not break it, but break the second table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the thing
It
that
looked like it kind of hurt.
it looks like it hurt, and I was like, damn. And the segment was just kind of womp womp, and then it's the womp womp segment, and then you hit that move that hurts like that, I'm like, it just doesn't seem worth it, you know?
So this is the celebration
Double
that
womp
has been
womps.
put
2
off.
womp womps in a row, and the second one hurt.
So since Mariah May became
It was a
champion at
big
All In,
jump, too.
they've been putting off this celebration, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
It's just like when they missed the one table, and you could tell the one girl was like, "Oh fuck," she was like laying there, just like, man.
The one girl.
I'm glad that they're okay.
I know there's only 2 of them in here.
I'm glad that they're okay. I'm sorry, I don't know their names. With all due respect,
I don't know the champion of the company.
Yeah, I don't know their name.
I get it if you
With
don't
all
know
due
Mina
respect.
Shirakawa.
it's making me think. It's like I'm like, with all due respect. It's like you can't just say with all due respect and then be disrespectful.
And be disrespectful.
Her name's Mariah May, first of all.
Okay, well I know her. I'm sorry, I just couldn't remember in the moment. In the moment, I knew her as the girl who missed the table and smashed into the second table. And it looks
So
like
I'm
it hurt.
assuming we're going to get Mina Shirakawa versus Mariah May eventually.
Yeah.
Okay. Jack Perry versus Daniel Garcia for the TNT Championship. During the first half of the match, Jack Perry would dominate. Daniel Garcia would come back and eventually tap out Perry with a sharpshooter, becoming TNT champion and winning his first non-ROH title after being here from pretty early on. Right in the middle.
Yeah,
of
he
a
was
segment.
kind of
right in the middle of a segment.
the first ones. Tim.
I'm gonna fucking demon on you, asshole.
We're gonna keep going.
I want a sponsorship, and it's not. Hang on, I think we owe it to the people.
You smell like a demon.
He says, "Oh my god."
You smell like a demon. Oh my god.
What does he say next?
Oh my god. I can smell every sin you've ever made. What did you do to this poor girl?
What did you do to this fork?
Dude, it's so awful. Dude.
Ever made.
But it's not the demons. I think we owe it to the people. We'll figure it out by the end. But it's not the Demon Slayer anime. It's a different one. I think it's like
No, it's based off of
Wow,
Demon
no
Slayer.
idea.
Apparently,
someone wrote the top comment is
someone wrote
said-
Sniff Slayer.
and then someone wrote way better than the actual anime. Dude, wouldn't that be sick to get like a Meat Canyon sponsor? Dude, we've
I mean, that would be the most random sponsor.
Someone
he
wrote,
so
"I feel like
random?
I should tell a trusted adult or something."
Okay. All right, let's keep going.
Oh my god! All right.
And we got to get through this pay-per-view.
So yeah, Daniel Garcia finally wins.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a
what
long
brain
time
rot
coming.
does. Brain rot like gets you sidetracked like this.
Yeah, are you happy for Daniel Garcia? Long time coming.
Yeah, finally.
They failed to pull the trigger on him so many times, but the fans kept sticking behind him, which doesn't usually happen. And that was talked about during the press conference. Is that like there was so many times that he could have bumped up to the next level and would just end up losing the match. And usually fans will die down or stop being behind you eventually, but every time he was in a new storyline, people kept pushing for him. So, and he says he's gonna. Did he say he's gonna keep the title the way it is?
I don't know.
He was naming off like someone asked him if he's gonna change the title because almost every holder has like changed the title for the TNT Championship, like Cody and Sammy. Well, Cody had the original, and Brody Lee changed it a little bit, and obviously Jack Perry. But he said he's gonna keep it. But it's like, are you going to keep it as the black? Or are you going to keep it as the original TNT Championship? I don't know.
I don't know.
All right,
I
Ricochet
like
and
the
Takeshita.
original. Do you remember the one? Hang on, just Jeremy, don't laugh at everything I say.
The unfinished one?
Just kidding.
You're just like, I don't know.
I had a weird attachment to it. Was awful, but the one that Cody had that was like unfinished and red.
He's
Had,
like,
like
it's
the
coming.
red strip.
Oh yeah.
I kind of like that one.
There's
Bring
been
it back.
so there's been 6 iterations, all right? There's been let's see, the red strap and it was all silver, which was the unfinished. There was the red strap finished, so it was gold and whatnot. White strap with a green ribbon.
I don't understand why they changed it so many times.
There was the gold one with the purple ribbon, which I think was Brody's.
Okay, well, respectfully, that one's cool.
And the one after that, which was a black strap, red ribbon, and then there was the Jack Perry handmade one.
I like that one. That one is cool.
You like the Hot Topic one?
Dude, he made it. That's what makes it
That's
cool.
fun.
Tim's gonna buy that new CM Punk belt, the 434-day
It's
belt.
awful. It looks horrendous, and you know he's thinking the same thing.
You know why it looks horrendous? Because that that version of that belt I fucking hate. The PG era.
It's that belt, and it's so blue. It's like shockingly blue.
You know people are buying it.
Oh yeah,
I'm definitely buying it.
Yeah, it's
I
selling
want
out.
it too.
You just said it's so awful, but you want it.
No, yeah, I just said it. It's like
'Cause it's
you know,
Punk.
it's like one of those things where it's just like it's so bad it's sick at the same time. Like
No,
Like,
I
I
don't
love
know. One of those things.
I love weird shit like that where you're like it's like kind of dumb, but you're like I love it.
Yeah, I get that.
All right. Ricochet and Takeshita International Championship. Winner was Takeshita. He retained. My gripes with it, 2 things. Didn't need to be as long as it is. Or was. Didn't need to be that long. And
Yeah.
it didn't live up, in my opinion, to what it could have been. It didn't live up to its potential.
Really? No.
I thought it was pretty good.
I like the pace.
would say that, yeah, it probably could have been shorter. But yeah, I like the pace as well.
That was just me. So y'all can talk about it in your own way. As Tim's currently watching it, he can say what he thinks.
Oh, I'm not. Well, that's been over. Now it's the rerun of Lashley.
That's
and
been
Strickland.
over.
Well, let's get into that. Swerve versus Bobby. This had a fight feel to it. It felt like a fight. First of all, agreed. Disagree.
It did. Yeah.
I thought Bobby looked great.
Always does.
I mean, he's still looked, as always.
Oh,
I'm not saying like actually physically look. I'm saying the way his like ring work.
Hey, you know what you know what they say. If you eat well and take care of yourself, you're gonna look great for a long time. So Bobby looks great. You know.
Yeah, that's the.
Andy's like, still not what I'm saying.
I'm still not talking about his
He looks
actual
awesome.
physical appearance. He's talking about how he did in the match. I feel like it was different than your typical Bobby Lashley match.
Yeah, well, I think he didn't have I know it's not as much now, but WWE still has those reins on how a wrestler should wrestle, especially when he's big like Bobby Lashley. So
Are you wrestling with Swerve? Swerve did the Swerve stomp through the table by jumping off of the steps. That was probably the highlight spot of the match.
that was pretty cool.
But Bobby would end up winning by the Hurt Lock and passing him out.
Yeah.
Then Nana would get in the ring and they would take out Nana while Swerve's grabbing onto his ankle. So I don't think this is the last of the rivalry.
No, he's gonna have to get 2 other people, right? Probably, or 1 other person.
I don't know. Who could join him? Keith Lee comes back to join the Mogul Embassy. It's not even a thing anymore. All right, main event. John Moxley versus Orange Cassidy, AEW World Championship. Match started out hot with 3 Superman punches from Orange Cassidy. And then Tope Suicida to the outside. So Orange Cassidy had the advantage in the beginning. Throughout the match, Orange Cassidy would end up bleeding. Conglomeration would come out to get involved with the Death Riders in order to take on Marina Shafir. Willow would get involved. So how'd you feel about the match until the ending?
I thought it was pretty good.
There was a head
I don't
bite.
think
He bit his head.
Yeah.
As usual. As
I don't
Moxley
think this.
He's like, just give me,
I don't think this was as good as
He's like,
the
I can
last
smell
one.
your sins.
Oh my god.
But in order to finish it off, Wheeler Yuta would hit a running knee, which would allow Moxley to capitalize and get the pin. Afterwards, they attempted to poison Orange with cleaning solution. All right, that was one
I
thing.
didn't like this.
And weirdly enough, Hangman Adam Page.
I could have done without this one.
In a confusing spot, Hangman Adam Page is the one that comes to make the save and just stares down Moxley to get them to stop.
But like, why?
Exactly. Then Christian, who had the contract that everyone forgot about, which is similar to a Money in the Bank, attempts to cash in, but Jay White comes out to stop it. The Death Riders get out of there, and as they're leaving the building, Darby Allin, who's actually in the car driving it, crashes his car into the Death Riders pickup truck on the way out. There was a lot of shit going on. It was chaos at the end of this show.
Yeah.
And that's how the show went off the air. Could have done without the poisoning spot. They're like, that's the clean. That's what they use to clean outside the
clean
ring.
wounds. Or...
I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah. But like Darby actually driving that car was probably unnecessary. Like they gotta just have a stunt double and
the
then
driver of it to crash. Yeah.
The way the camera went over, I thought they like had him come in because it took so long to go over to the driver's
he fucking
side.
drove that car in, smashed it.
Yep, he drove straight in.
I mean the main event should usually be the best match in my opinion, but it was not.
I don't think it usually, for me, like nowadays, it's usually not the best
AEW.
match, but it's the best story.
Yeah. But agree, Will and Kyle was the best match.
Oh yeah, I thought overall it was a good pair of view as well.
Not
but
by
not
far. I also
strong.
liked Ricochet and Takeshita, but I thought Will and Kyle was the best match.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I did
that...
like that Ricochet and Takeshita match. I know that's like weird for me, but something about it.
Something about it.
Let's get
sometimes
into
it just
Raw.
Be like that.
This week on Raw, it started with the women's. I'll just say the women's War Games is set. We had Liv, Raquel, Nia, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae in the ring. Out comes Bianca, Jade, Io Sky, and Naomi. They still need a 5th member. Out comes a returning Rhea Ripley wearing a face mask that protects her to become the 5th member, and they start brawling. Backstage, we had tensions between Dom and Finn continuing to build. Then after that, Ludwig Kaiser would interrupt a good Intercontinental Championship match between Sheamus and Braun Breaker by attacking both men. Shortly after, Kaiser would question Gunther backstage for abandoning him last week.
Abandoning.
Gunther tells him to be his own man, and then Damian would attack Gunther backstage. He said, "You might be the king of the ring, but I'm the king of the streets."
God.
And a freak in the sheets. All right.
Yeah, that's what I literally thought in my head.
The Usos and Sami would fail again to recruit Seth Rollins to their War Games team. Then Finn Balor and JD would attack the War Raiders after their win over Dom and Carlito. We had a video of Dakota Kai, who returned the week before, about how she has her sights set on championship gold. And then the main event was Bronson Reed versus Seth Rollins, which before the bell rang, the Usos and Solo's Bloodline would brawl at the start. Bronson Reed would defeat Seth Rollins in the main event due to a distraction from Solo Sikoa. I'm excited to get into Smackdown because of the end.
Yeah, that's her favorite part of the week.
Strong ending.
Strong way to end.
Strong with you. All right, sorry. If there's
Tim knew
any,
where I was going. Tim knew where I was going.
If there's any Star Wars fans, they know. They know.
Okay. Show opened up. Solo wants Roman to surrender by the end of the night. We had a women's U.S. title tournament. Bianca Belair versus Blair Davenport versus Chelsea Green. Towards the end of the match, Jade would be shown on screen mid-match, attacked onto a car, smashed, doing her best Kurt Angle impression. Bianca would leave the ring to go check on her friend, so it just became Blair Davenport versus Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green would end up getting the win. I really hope she wins the tournament. That's who I'm picking. That's what I want. So she would move on to the next round in the tournament. So I read that this was done. I think Jade is actually hurt in some way, which this also affects War Games.
Yeah, they said her neck.
So who takes her place in War Games? Bailey? It's only logical.
Yeah, I was thinking Bailey because who else would it be?
Yeah, it's the only logical step to replace her. But that sucks. Hopefully it's not too long of an injury.
Yeah.
But who do you think they put in charge of attacking her? Bailey? Or whoever takes her spot?
Some people said Naomi. I don't know.
Naomi, really? It wouldn't be Bianca because she sacrificed her own spot in the U.S. tournament to. That wouldn't make.
Yeah,
sense.
it wouldn't be her.
Yeah. Okay. LA Knight would retain against Santos Escobar. Afterwards, Shinsuke Nakamura would attack yet again. We had a segment with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, in which Kevin reiterated once again that everything he's doing is his fault, is Cody's fault. And he said Cody came out in like exercise gear, like his like sweatsuit.
Yeah, no suit.
Yeah, no suit. And Owen said, "I wore my best suit, thinking that you were going to come out in yours." And Kevin Owens had on a tuxedo shirt with the sleeves cut off. Genius, genius, genius. Mr. Deeds, sorry. Genius. All right. After that, Cody and Carmella Hayes would have a backstage altercation. Carmella would basically say that people are siding with Kevin Owens, in which they would have a little backstage quote-unquote fight. This would lead to Carmella having tweet of the year. Said, just got some advice from CM Punk about how never to lose a backstage fight.
That was great.
Again, yeah.
That was a good one.
Montez Ford would defeat Ciampa. Afterwards, Ciampa would attack Montez. Angelo Dawkins would run out. Johnny Gargano tried to play peacemaker between them. Ciampa would shove Gargano down, and he would leave the ring before Motor City Machine Guns could do anything after running out. Eventually, we're all going to see what made Ciampa and Gargano fucking crush it in NXT. When you get a banger of a storyline and wrestling match between the two, I hope we get it repeated on the main roster. That's my hope.
Yeah, hopefully it kind of happens soon too.
All right, let's get to this main event segment.
Let's get to it.
I was hyped. New and old Bloodline meet in the ring. It's a
hyped, high, and horny.
Hyped.
Triple H.
All right. New and old Bloodline would meet in the ring. It's
New
a 5v4. New and old Bloodline would meet in the ring. 5 versus 4 would be standing across from each other. Solo would say that he wasn't. He didn't want to fight them because he loves them. He offers them a chance to join his bloodline and take over WWE. After mentioning that it's 5-on-4, we would hear Paul Heyman say, "Ladies and gentlemen," and
that was a pop for Paul. I think that was one of the biggest ones.
Turning Paul Heyman ever since what he got put through the table. He hasn't been back since Roman's been.
Yeah.
So since Midsummer, he's been gone. and he said it's not going to be 5-on-4. It's going to be 5-on-5. And he points to the Titantron. We hear the static. CM Punk's music hits. CM Punk walks out, wrapping the tape around his wrist, goes straight into the ring, and instantly starts brawling. It's 5-on-5 brawl. Punk and Reigns would both, after clearing the ring, hit finishers simultaneously. There would be a stare down in which Punk said, "I'm not here for you. I'm here for him." Points to Heyman. Last year, if you remember, Punk did say, well, there would be a stare down between the two, but Punk did say on Raw, he said, "I have a feeling that as Roman's on his way down and I'm on my way up, we're going to meet." And so we'll see what this leads to eventually with them. But Jeremy, you were saying that people online are saying stuff about Heyman's attire.
Yeah. So, Heyman usually has a suit on and everything, nice tie and all that. He came out in a blazer, but with a red shirt on underneath,
That's
which
how
is
Solo dresses.
what Solo does.
I don't think so. Don't put Heyman with Solo.
And he didn't, when they all were leaving, Heyman walked out with Punk rather than with Roman. So that's just like a few details.
So I want to pick Tim's brain. Tim, how you feel? How you feel about this?
About the
We all thought it would
situation?
be Rollins. We all thought it was going to be Rollins because logically it made
I didn't
sense.
want
but
it
it's
to be
not.
Rollins, and I think it's a genius move. CM Punk's another Paul Heyman.
I don't think
guy.
people saw it coming. I didn't.
The only other guy that would have been crazy was Brock, but probably not gonna happen.
I'm glad Punk's
Not gonna
on
happen
the
right
card.
But yeah, it makes perfect sense. It's funny that none of us thought of it. It's like, I bet you somebody was in a meeting being like, why have we not thought of this yet? Like,
yeah, they're like, why not
well,
Punk?
the old rumor was him and Gunther at Survivor Series, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe that's when the person pitched it and was like, why not Punk? They're like, oh yeah.
Who knows if things changed. So speaking of Punk, Jeremy saw it today. I saw it before the podcast started. There's I know Tim's probably going to want to watch it after this. There's a 9-minute video on YouTube of Punk's return from last year. It's all behind the scenes, him behind the curtain waiting, him saying hi to people afterwards, like Cody and Sammy and Jey Uso, Rhea Ripley,
Randy Orton
Corey
was so
Graves.
funny.
Randy Orton's like, couldn't give me 10 minutes for my return, you fucking asshole. And they're all backstage. And it all takes place in Gorilla. All takes place in Gorilla. Triple H asked Punk, he's like, "You want to make the internet explode and take a pic together?" And they do. And Punk's like, "Are we going to do the point?"
Punk's like, "You're going to point at me?"
Point at me? It's a really cool video. It goes by fast. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. But yeah, I mean, you see Bruce Pritchard sneaking him backstage. And he waits, and Triple H is like, "You're going to go to the 2 cages." And then Punk's like, "I'm going next to the cage." And he's like, "No, the 2 shark cages." He's like, "Stand in front of it. The lighting's
That's
there."
the one where they were freaking out at each other.
Yeah.
That's what Punk
like,
talked
what?
about that. He's like, "I can't hear you." And he's like, "You're going to go." He's like, and then he like stood up at him.
Yeah, he's talking to Rhea. He's like, "Hey." He's like, "How are you?" He's like, "I feel like I know you," because he's friends with House of Black. And so Buddy Matthews being with him all the time.
Right.
In AEW. He says hi to Dom. Sammy, he's like, "How you doing?" He's like, "I'm doing great." I was like, "Are they cool with each other?"
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
And I think Corey Graves is like, we gotta talk. And he's like, "We will." But before that, Stu, the camera guy, interrupts. And he's like, "What's up, Stu? You're interrupting this great moment with us."
Yeah.
It's a cool video. If you haven't seen it, they put it out today because Punk's 1 year is coming up. So before we end the show, I wanted to end with War Games predictions. 3 matches have been announced. If it's like last year, there will be 5. So I'm going to throw in my 5 or my other 2 that I think would happen if they're going to fill it up, starting with LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Who you got?
I mean, I'm going with LA Knight, but I feel kind of bad for Shinsuke because it's kind of like he just came back.
He's always in a title picture but never wins.
LA Knight needs
LA
Knight. He needs to get back to where he was last year.
I mean, the crowd is still hot for him. They were still on fire for him this Friday on SmackDown.
Yeah.
He just doesn't ever maybe like once or twice, but since he's been champion, he's defended it more times on TV than he has on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So I'll go with LA Knight. My other one would be Braun Breaker, Ludwig Kaiser, and Sheamus. I'm gonna go Ludwig. I want Ludwig to win.
I think he's going to win. I think there's a lot of momentum behind him for this.
Yes.
Mm,
Or does Sheamus win for the first time ever the Intercontinental title?
I mean, that's
It's
the
crazy
thing.
to
You
think he's never
it-
won.
I don't think
know.
Sheamus.
But you don't know though in these type of situations, you know. But I guess Ludwig. But sometimes they pull fast.
So those are the two that haven't been booked that could happen. Then we have the three that are going to happen, starting with Damian Priest versus Gunther. I think Gunther retains.
Yeah. I mean, there's
Yeah.
obviously I don't think they're going to take it off from him for a while.
The women's War Games match. So we have on the heel side, we have Nia, Candice LeRae, Liv, Raquel, and Tiffany Stratton versus Naomi, Bianca, Io Sky. Fucking A. I have it written down. 1 second. Rhea
I
Ripley.
mean, either way, who?
And it was Jade,
was-
but Jade's not going to be in it anymore. So
Yeah.
basically, heel side or face side.
Is the heel side for me for this
I'm
one.
going heel.
Heel.
All right, men's War Games, new versus OG
War
Bloodline.
Games.
You guys see the pic where Punk inserted himself and Paul Heyman in the
Yeah.
old family
Yeah,
photo?
on Instagram. Yeah, that was funny.
Punk.
For this one, you're gonna just Punk wins.
Just
No one else.
he beats them all.
Punk just gets in. He beats everybody up with one arm tied behind his back, dude. Pins them all.
The only other thing I can see happening is at some point,
Besides that,
because Punk ruined the celebration last year, Rollins does something.
Yeah, I also was thinking,
Tying
what
it
about
back.
The Rock? He made a special appearance. When was it? The Royal Rumble?
Who?
What was it? The Rock.
Oh,
When he
you
came out
think
at the
Rock
end.
comes out and does something? Yeah, I don't.
He just stands there again.
Something's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen.
But I think Punk wins no matter what.
Punk gets the pin.
Because if he
you think?
turns heel,
Who do you think gets the final pin?
well, I think Punk is the final pin, actually. But also, if he turns heel, then he's, him and Heyman.
Was
'Cause
he
that's
a
how I
heel
have a
with
feeling.
Heyman?
Yeah,
He was. Okay.
yeah.
Damn.
So we'll say, I guess.
And then do we get Punk versus Roman?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If he turns heel, then it has to be Roman that he goes
But
against.
would you want to see that match anywhere but Mania?
I have no idea. Like, what other
Does
big
Punk
pay-per-view
face
would
The
it be?
Rock again at Royal Rumble?
That'd be so funny if it was Punk Rock.
that'd be crazy.
You know what's gonna be fun is at the Rumble having Cena in the Rumble, Punk in the Rumble,
That's right. Cena's going to be back soon.
maybe The Rock in the
Is it
Rumble.
Jan-
I think The Rock's gonna be in the Rumble. I wouldn't be surprised if The Rock wins this year.
He'll be like the last one that comes in
go
because he
after
can't go
Cody.
more. It could be.
Yeah.
But is
Which
Cena
he-
coming back the first show of January?
He's coming for the Netflix, whatever the Netflix
He's
one.
like
The Netflix
okay.
Raw is gonna have Roman, John Cena, CM Punk, and Cody Rhodes.
It's gonna
on
be
it.
big.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big Raw.
Yeah.
I should be, but I wouldn't be mad if Rock wins the Rumble.
I don't want him to.
You're like, set up the match a different way.
Yeah, you don't need a Rumble win.
Yes, you do.
What we do need is a Punk in the main event of Mania.
Yes. What if Punk wins?
Do you think we'll ever see? Be honest. Do you think we'll ever see a WWE champion Punk?
Maybe one
Again.
more time.
I think, yeah. In the next 2 years.
2025. Do you think we get one more Cena versus Punk match.
I hope
Money in the
they
Bank
both
or
kind of said it.
SummerSlam or something.
They should do it at Money in the Bank again.
How fun
Andy,
would
I got
that
a
be?
classic
In
show of the week.
Chicago
Are you
or
ready?
something. Huh?
Are we ready for the classic show of the week?
Yeah, I think so. That's all the predictions.
All right. Sorry, but the restroom is calling my name. Let's keep going. All right.
Tim's like, all right, so we at the end of the show.
Yeah, let's keep her going. We're rambling here. All right. The classic show of the week is Extreme Rules 2014, and I chose this one because there's a cool match on there in particular. It's kind of weird, but there's some interesting matchups here. Opening match, this is just horrible. It's El Torito against Hornswoggle in a Wii LC.
Oh
match.
my god.
Terrible. Next, you got a triple threat elimination match: Cesaro with Paul Heyman against Rob Van Dam and Jack Swagger. Alexander Rusev against R-Truth and Xavier Woods. Bad News Barrett against Big E. And then this is the reason why I chose this pay-per-view. The Shield versus Evolution in a 6-man tag. So Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns against Batista, Randy Orton, and Triple H. Then you got Bray Wyatt against John Cena. That's another one, a cage match. This one a little weird here. Paige versus Tamina Snuka. Tamina's one that never really, I don't know, feel like took off a lot. And then you got Daniel Bryan versus Kane, the governor of or the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. So interesting pay-per-view. Thank you all so much for joining us for this episode.
Like a demon. Oh my God. I can smell every sin you've ever made. What did you do to this poor girl?
All right, and on that note, we will see you guys next week.